Hello everybody, welcome back to another GeoGuessr video. This one's going to be a little different today. I just want to focus on something that's been asked a lot of me. It's something I feel like I'm pretty good at, and that is the differentiation of Asian language. Don't want to waste any time, so we're just going to jump right into it. This is the very basic guideline of it, and then I'm going to show you some GeoGuessr examples to try and give you a better idea of how it's used within the world. Okay, so for number one, we're going to start with Korean. It's right here on your screen. I'm just going to use this WikiHow website because it's very basic and it's super easy Google. The main thing with Korean language, and the way that I can always tell it apart, is it has so many circles. There's no circles in Chinese at all. And then I think Japanese, like if they have them, they're going to just look slightly different and they're way less frequent. Korean, it's just everywhere. If you see a circle attached to another character, it's almost guaranteed to be there. Chinese characters, the website actually describes them as like blocky. I would just mainly describe them as rigid. You can kind of see they're very straight lines. I'll just kind of diagram it with the mouse, but like all of them, like there are a lot of like squares involved, even though when you have like a curve, like it's still very linear, like on this character Boo, which is just means no. It's rarely very flowy, I guess is how the word I would use to describe it. It's very rarely flowy, but you have a lot of like straight lines. If you do have a curve, it's just very infrequent, and they're just significantly different from the Japanese curves, which we'll move on to right now. So the Japanese language, like you can see there are some circles, but for the most part, like these waves, sometimes in GeoGuessr especially, I'll have to stop and look at a few signs to confirm, because certain characters are very similar and I can mix them up very frequently, but then you just get like a cluster of characters like these where you can just clearly tell this would never be written in the Chinese language. And for some reason for me, I don't mix up Korean and Japanese, but nowhere. So how I was saying, there are circles. You have these circles here, but rarely are they their own element where there's a circle separated. So say there was like a circle at the top right corner or top left corner of this character. You don't see that. It's rather built into the flowiness of the character, where it's kind of being just drawn as a loop. But yeah, I think that's basically it for differentiating the language. I just want to show you some in-game examples because they can look slightly different on like signs or restaurant signs or things like that. So I just want to kind of give you some examples. So let's just jump right into it. All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed that and the quick version helped you enough that you feel like you won't need this, but I am just going to go through each of the three countries and just play a game, play around through, and hopefully we can identify the language and quickly get the right answer. I just want to do this to show you in game. It could sometimes look a little different when it's applied in real life, so let me just give some examples. Here we go. The one thing I will say about this is I'm not using a Japan, Taiwan, and South Korea map, because when I was playing them, each one I kept playing felt like I was only getting Japan, and I wasn't able to show the difference when I was just doing some practice rounds. So let's get right into it. All right, so we know this is Japan for several reasons. We're in low cam. We see these, which are unique to Japan. Taiwan's would go all the way to the bottom and they'd be more striped around. Let's see if we can get some language. We have a sign right here. We're just going to play moving just because, I mean, it's not that serious. So this is a perfect example. A lot of the time when I'm playing GeoGuessr and I'm in Japan and I don't realize it's Japan and I see language, a lot of the times you'll see this bottom row and I'm looking at it and I'm trying to pick out what isn't Chinese about it, because it's very, you see the blocks, the characters are very typical, and I don't see anything that's like excessively wavy. And then I even come up here and I see this first character and I'm like, that looks normal. And I start to go through it, but then you get down to this line and you see those curves come into play. So that can happen sometimes where you're looking at something and you see it, especially in Japan. I don't get this really mixed up between South Korea ever, because I don't really see this almost Chinese looking script there. Japan, it happens a lot for me. So this is just something I wanted to point out to you guys so you could see that this I would almost be, if I didn't know any of the other meta, I would look and be like, oh, we're in China, or obviously Taiwan, because China isn't included in GeoGuessr. But basically, once you see any of these curvy lines, you can basically just assume. I'm just going to pick a random spot because I don't actually know where we are. I would say that we're maybe up here somewhere, and I was completely wrong, but no biggie. Again, Japan, we already know it's Japan because we're playing on a Japan-only map, and we have some more language. These characters are a pretty dead giveaway. How they're extra flowy. In Chinese, it would be very much more rigid, where the top line, how it's almost shaped like an S, would more so be just like a very slight indented curve. And I can put up a picture on the screen just so you guys can see kind of what it looks like. But also, obviously, the top row. And yeah, I don't know the area codes, but let's just say 5 is up here and they go top to bottom. They do not. Let's just move up this way. Take a look at this and just clear indication. I mean, look at this flowiness. Even though this is kind of a restaurant sign or business sign where the logo kind of maybe will skew the lettering, you can just kind of tell by, especially this like snake looking character and even this one, that it's just not Chinese. Like this sign, I could see getting confused with Chinese because you don't see too many things that are super flowy. The other thing is Japan drives on the left while the other two countries will drive on the right. So that's another big thing to keep an eye out for. Even these characters, except for this one, let me see if I can move a little closer. Look how the middle, maybe you could see this in Chinese and maybe I'm wrong, but it just this kind of like double crossed curve, I believe would most of the time look more like just an X, like an English X in like a Chinese writing, where I don't think that you would see them crossed like that too frequently. I'm not a dialect expert. I just know a little bit about the languages. All right, this one, we haven't got one right, but this one looks like Tokyo, so we're just gonna go for it. Bada bing, bada boom. Again, it like essentially could be Chinese characters over here, but once you kind of just read more of the sign, eventually you're gonna find these curves. Bada bing, bada boom. You got it. Country, I don't know, maybe like north, somewhere up here. Not too bad. And last round, but certainly not least, these things I believe are distinctive to up here. This one doesn't look too distinctive. I would say this character looks a little weird, but I might just be a loony bin. Up here, similar kind of thing. The only thing I will say is how, see this character, right? This edge to me almost looks rounded, where in Chinese, again, it would be completely square and stern, and then obviously this sign, and that is pretty much it. So I think we would just be up here somewhere. Let's just go down in Taiki, and what a guess. All right, so now here we are on the Taiwan map. Some symbols that are going to kind of be clear to give us Taiwan. These mirrors are very common. We did see some in Japan, but these stripes that are go kind of vertically are very common. You're going to see them on poles a lot. And here we have our Chinese characters. A lot of times you will have these flowy bits, like it's almost flowy, but it's very symmetrical and refined when it's done, I think. We have that, these characters here. And the thing I did want to mention is just that obviously China is not featured on GeoGuessr. So other than like some simple Trekker in Hong Kong, most of the time you see these Chinese characters, you can be thinking Taiwan most of the time. But yeah, I mean, we know it's Taiwan. Where do we think it is? Probably north. I don't know. Heck yeah. The other thing that maybe is included, I'm not positive about this, but I feel like we don't usually see that much English text in Japan. I'm sure maybe around more populated areas we do, so I won't quote that as a meta, but the thing about these beers is they're often really at big intersections, so that's something to keep an eye out for. So you got lots of blocks, no really flows. And the other thing is, I feel like in Chinese, you often have more cases of a character like this, where it's almost three separate characters combined into one element, which I think is more similar to the Korean language, where Korea, like we were saying with the circles almost get included into that. They're their own element of the character. That's another good way to kind of differentiate the two. Bao Road. I'm just, trying my best here, but I really don't have any idea. We'll go over here. Yeah, I was completely wrong. Not a worry. All right, what do we have here? Yeah, this one, again, just has separate component characters. We'll go down in Tainan, maybe, just up north of it. This one, it's a little bit harder to kind of go into my reasoning just because I recognize it so much better. But, yeah, we don't have too much great text here, but just lots of lines. Even the characters, you can kind of make out those boxy letters. Shui is a very common character where it's a little bit flowy. I mean, like I said, you have a little bit of flowiness, but it's almost very symmetrical. This is almost very extreme, but again, we're seeing all that component of different characters being built into one character. Just way more common, I would say. This one, I'm just gonna go middle. And last but not least, we're somewhere without very much language at all, but we do see this sign. Maybe we can get over. Who is this sign helping? No one. Absolutely no one. Last but not least, I mean, we know it's Taiwan, so it's easy for me to sit here and say like, oh yeah, obviously this is in Japan. But I guess another big thing, we've seen the word road a few times. I don't actually know the pinyin for road, but this character we've seen twice now. So honestly, this is maybe a good thing to learn just to memorize in the back of your head, this specific character, because clearly the English writing of road is paired with this character very frequently. So I'm just keep an eye out for that. That would be something that would be actually very important and probably could really help you in your GeoGuessr games. There you go. I mean, it's Shan is everywhere, and the word Shan means mountain, so I'm going to assume we're maybe up in the mountains somewhere on this road. No, we're in like a town. We got to make a better guess than that. Yeah, we're surely over in Guanfu. Yeah, that's my guess. You know, it wasn't too good, but yeah, hopefully that kind of showed you that, and now we're going to move over to Korean, which is probably the most distinctive. If you're struggling with that, that's okay, but I'm going to hopefully point out some things that will give you a little bit better idea of the differentiation and how I specifically see the language. Here we go. All right, so South Korea, here we go. Let's click play. Let's start the game. We're going to do moving just in case we're not near any language. And bam, circles. Immediately I see the circle and I know we are in Korea. Look how many circles there are. They're everywhere. We have not seen these anywhere in either Japan or Taiwan, and they are just literally in every character. Bam, bam. Gotta have one. Bam. Bam, bam. They're literally everywhere, and we're driving on the right. That's the nicest thing, I think, is that because we're driving on the right, even though you have like kind of this blurry car, you know we're not in low cam. I would say that this is most easy to distinguish from Japanese just because of how they integrate the circles. And then Chinese, I think it looks similar, right? Because you have all these characters that are built up of multiple characters, but the circles just are a clear distinguisher. Let's just pick, I don't know, we're in a pretty big city. By Severance Hospital, Cheongdam Junction, Daichi Junction. I don't know, let's go Daejeon. Why not? And it was just Seoul. Always capital guess, I guess. Oh no. We're on Trekker. You guys have any text on you? Oh my god. What is happening? Squad, we're gonna skip over this one. But let's just say we're in some park in the capital somewhere. Is there a lake in Seoul? Yeah, right here. This is where we are. Alright, close enough. Okay, we're out of that. That was just stressful. Another thing with Korea, with actual meta, is they do have these same stripes as Taiwan, but notice they don't go all the way to the bottom. So that is something that is pretty clear. We look at this. There's 3 characters here. One of them has a circle. But maybe over here on this sign. Oh my gosh, the rare no circle. And so this is around where I would look at it and I would be like, this could be Chinese. Like if this was, say, let's just say it's no moving, panning, or zooming. I'm looking at this. Blur that. But basically, yeah. So this is something I would look at and think it could be Chinese, but there's a few things that don't look overtly Chinese to me, and that's what I'm gonna point them out right now. This third character here, this one right here, all right? How the box is not closed on the top is very, very strange, especially because when writing boxes in Chinese, at least this is how I was taught. I don't know if it's actually 100% correct, but my assumption is that it is. You very rarely would draw it like this. You would, most of the time you do this sideline here, so I'm just going to draw it here, and then you would go over and close and then the bottom line. I can't think of any Chinese characters that have this open square in it, and maybe that's wrong or my lack of Chinese knowledge because I don't have very much, but that's something that I would be like, I don't think that's super Chinese looking. Yeah, other than that, I guess just this character and this one having just like such minimal additions to it. Also, the line being really big, maybe it's just something that my brain picks out, but we see anything else? Oh, on the road, it literally, let's just turn around because you can probably see it. Circles everywhere. So we'll just go, chung, yep, there we go. Immediately spawn and you see circles. It's really hard to not just point to the circles for me because I mean, it's just very clear. Like it's a perfect circle and it's its own aspect of the character. And if you're in Korea, like no matter where you go, you're going to be seeing them everywhere. So once I think you get a hang of seeing they're just everywhere. So, I mean, we'll just go Seoul again. Why not? And more, I mean, they're just, look at this. This is a perfect example. We have what? How many signs do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And probably all of them have a circle on them, except for maybe this one. Oh, no, it's got a circle down there. This one does not, but it's got this kind of character on it that is definitely not Chinese. Circle. Circle, 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 circle. Oh, maybe no circle there, but it looks like there might be some like on the bottoms. But yep, there you go. And then this one's just like English for some reason, but there's circles everywhere. And eventually you're going to learn the circle. We just guess Seoul every time because eventually it'll be right. Alrighty, guys. Hopefully this helped you a whole bunch at distinguishing the languages. I want to keep this video as clear, quick, and concise as I can. Please leave a like on the video if this helped you in any way. Comment below what else you would like to see. These are the languages that I feel like I can most easily distinguish, but I'm willing to go along and try and learn the differences between other ones. I feel like I also have the Southeast Asian characters kind of differentiated pretty well, especially when I see them. I feel like I can map them to the map itself. Let me know if you guys struggle with those, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!